It's Monday night. It's Sweep the League night, and we're back. And we're back better than ever because today we actually launched the logos. The logos, the four logos, the original Sweep the League logo, Sweep the League radio show, Sweep the League podcast, and Sweep the League sports talk. All of that is coming soon to the merch store. And I've got to go with the cool kids because all I have surrounded with me here at Sweep the League are, cool young kids. So I got to stay hip. So it's not merchandising as, Yogurt said in Spaceballs. It's merch. You have to cut it down. So it's strictly merch. The merch will be coming up, but this is Sweep the League. I'm joined tonight by the Rock himself. Stats is here. Shemaya on the beats is on the way. He'll be here pretty soon. And back as always, she had mommy duty for a while there, but the damn Cowboys pissed her off so much that she said, I am going to be there. My husband is on daddy duties. He's taking care of everything because I got a lot to get off tonight. Candace, you're back.
I did, and I thought maybe it's because, I had mentioned to you last week, even though I was on the show, but we had talked before, and I was like, maybe it's like some good luck that I haven't been on the show because the Cowboys have been winning, right? Well, Clearly that's not the case. So I'm back, y'all.
Do you blame Cooper Rush for last night's loss?
I don't know. I feel like there was a lot going on. I will say Philadelphia had a hell of a team. Mm-hmm. So, kudos to them. I discussed earlier, I feel like, there's always next game, but I think there was a lot of factors, with, God, what's his name? Noah
Brown.
Yes. That call, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful catch. Unfortunately, it didn't count, but it is what it is. And there's always next week.
The cool thing about it is the Cowboys are what? They're 4-1 or 4-2 now? Is that what it is?
4-2?
I believe so.
Yes, they're 4-2.
Okay. So the Falcons are 3-3 now. How quickly we are rising up the ranks of the NFL lore here. And I just want to say shout out to the Dirty Birds because unlike the Cowboys and unlike the Buccaneers, they got it done yesterday. They came through in the clutch and they won their game. We're going to spend a little time on the Bucs, so I got to get Mark's opinion on that. Shout out to the Falcons, the Dirty Birds themselves. We're the winners. The Detroit Lions also the winners because they were on a bye, so they didn't win, they didn't lose, they didn't do anything except enjoy the week off. They come back next week against the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to preview that here in just a little bit. But first and foremost, guys, tonight, huge show on Facebook. D. Gervin Big Mo, welcome. NBA writer Peter Vesey. That show is actually going on as we are on the air. That's why Derek's not here. They're interviewing Peter Vesey tonight. That's the D. Gervin Big Mo show on Facebook. Derek's got to be proud because I keep getting that right now, and it's right in front of me, so I always mess it up. Baller Boys podcast, Stats and Shemaya, they've got you going all over there. Shemaya on the Beach Radio, I Am Refocused Radio. I Am Refocused Radio. They just got done doing an interview with Dean Cain, Superman himself. Actually, one of the Superman, but the Lois and Clark version of Superman, Dean Cain himself, the latest guy to be interviewed on I Am Refocused Radio. All right, guys, we're going to get into this Cowboy talk here because this is probably the most popular thing going on right now. We're gonna come in hot like a Draymond Green punch to the eye. Is the debate over? No more Dak is this. No more Cooper is this. No more of that. You guys are Cowboy fans. Rock and Candace, this is y'all's platform because the debate's obviously over. I like Cooper Rush, but I've always said Dak is more talented, all this other stuff. Does this put to bed? Because I got a conspiracy question for you guys. I got something cooking up in the background here. But I want to know, is this debate over? Is it Dak 100%? Cooper goes back to the practice squad type stuff?
I feel like for Dak, I think this was kind of a sigh of relief for him. I felt like, when you break that streak, I think I think at first maybe he was a little nervous of where this was going to lead to, but after last night, I think he's like, all right, I'm back in the game, type of thing. But I think they're both phenomenal players. I love the teamwork that they have. I don't going back to 2016 is funny because I always tweet about it and people are like, oh, 2016 again. But I think about the relationship that Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott have. It's like that. It's a very brotherly relationship where I think about with Tony Romo and Dak, I never really saw that. And so I like it. I think it's like a brotherhood they have, like an unspoken brotherhood. And maybe it's, I feel like we just hyped it up that they were just, Dak was threatened by him. And maybe at the end of the day, it's just like he's just cheering on his brother, making sure that they get the team to those wins.
Yeah, I think so. I really did think so. I mean, you got to cheer on it. Yeah, you know what? Cooper did it. Cooper did his job. He did his job. He got you, the wins that you needed to win. The Philadelphia Eagles, we can't lie. They're probably the best team in the NFC, hands
100%.
down. So, yeah. I mean, you really lost to the best team in the NFC. Right now, Minnesota's probably second in the NFC, I would say, as the best team. Even that, I'm real iffy. I think there's a big gap in between Philadelphia and Minnesota. I really do. And I think right now Philly's just that team. So seeing Cooper struggle last night, seeing the Cowboys lose wasn't really a surprise to me. But Rock, I'm gonna drop this conspiracy theory on you. I'm gonna just totally drop it on you, Rock. And I know Stats may even want to jump in here too because Stats loves the conspiracy stuff. But I saw Cowboy fandom last night saying that this was all planned. Cooper was going to look bad. The coaches were going to put him in situations where it would not make him look good. And I even tweeted out, I said, is anybody kind of scratching their heads about this play calling from Dallas? This was way before Cooper, was really, really struggling. This was, I don't think they scored a point yet. But to me, the play calling just didn't seem like it had been the previous weeks Cooper was starting. So is this something that maybe Cowboy fandom really looked at and maybe caught on to something?
Not necessarily, because I mean, if you're going to go into the mindset of that you're trying to put your quarterback in a situation to lose, then you're just setting up for failure and you're not building that team culture. The play calling was a little bit weird and wonky to start off the game. But also, I mean, maybe in a sense that Moore was trying different things because he knows, like you said, Philly's a good team. They have, elite defense, and you saw it last night, and they have a high-powered offense. In the first drive, you really didn't see Cooper do anything. In the next couple drives, he didn't really do anything. They didn't get their offense rolling to the second half. But I think in a sense that if Cooper had won, it would not necessarily put pressure on Dak itself. I think the media would have just magnified, should they leave in Cooper. We all know that Dak is a way better quarterback, but I think last night's showing just showed that I think their loss showed that they can keep with the Eagles even with Rush in, but even though the Eagles are top of the NFC, I'm not buying that they're the best team relatively because they didn't really show me anything that made it to a big win. Yeah, Dallas lost, and obviously the record shows that Philly won, but Philly didn't really scare me last night. I don't know. I'm on that wagon that Philly was just like they got handed that win itself. I mean, they got put in good field position from Cooper's interceptions, and they only had one true drive. So I'm not buying the Philly hype.
Really? You're not?
No, I mean, because you still got to worry about the 49ers of the road who have a way better defense. And if Jimmy G is going to keep playing like how he was, and they move the ball, then so be it. They still have the Bucks, even though they just shit the bed yesterday. The Bucks are still the Bucks, and then the Rams still are reigning Super Bowl champions. I'm not really buying the Philly hype. I mean, Jalen Hurts only had 155 yards and 2 touchdowns which were dink and dunk touchdowns. I mean,
yeah.
Of course, when you get a pick, you're obviously wanting to capitalize on turnovers. There's no doubt about that. But I'm just not buying the Philly hype around it. I mean, it's still early in the year, and if you look at the schedule, they really haven't played anyone.
Well, okay, so Dallas's defense was top ranked.
Yeah, but I mean, Dallas's defense was tired last night because their offense couldn't really do anything. I mean, after a while, you're going to get tired eventually, and they got killed on the RPOs, which Micah pointed out after the game, and they knew coming in that they're going to get RPO to death. But I mean, if you're playing more snaps and more reps, you're eventually going to give up points. And coming in, I knew Dallas had a shitty run defense, and it's been obvious that's one of the biggest flaws. And they almost actually had a takeaway. You saw Micah, get that pick six essentially, but the whole team just made a lot of critical mistakes that put them in a hole, and they just couldn't get it back.
That to me, I'm not going to say that's controversial, but that's kind of mind-boggling to me that you're saying that Philly's not the best team in the NFC.
I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I mean, think about it. So fine. So they didn't drive the first two drives, if I'm correct, and then so they get down in the red zone and it's still 0-0 and they're fourth down. The hard cap's coming. If Dante Fowler doesn't commit that's 3 points. And then if Cooper doesn't throw those picks, you could be talking about a different game. I mean, Dallas got close and going to 3, but eventually, like I said, the Dallas defense was tired and they give up that long drive. That was Philly's first true drive. But when you saw the Cowboys come out, they looked like a new team and they ran the ball down the Philly's throat, in which Philly is known to stop the run. And that's why I'm not really scared of them, because how are you going to let an old man Zeke run down the ball? I understand Pollard had his runs, but you let Zeke kill you, and this guy's old as hell.
But hasn't Zeke owned the Eagles though?
Yeah, exactly. But I just feel like with Dak, they're in a better position. Yeah, I mean, even if you can say that they're close relatively, him and Rush, talent wise, I just feel like Dak would have been in a better position because, I mean, Rush just feel like he was getting forced, and yeah, he was getting put in shitty situations by the coaching staff.
All right. I mean, you'll make a case for it. I still say Philly's the better team in the NFC. I mean, yeah, I get the Bucks, I get the Rams. The Rams are just shit. I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat anything. They haven't shown anything all season. They're 3-3. They're 3-3, and I'm still trying to figure out how they're 3-3. They have looked horrible the entire year. I mean, Minnesota, I will say, okay, Minnesota maybe. I can't really buy the Giants hype just yet because I'm waiting for Danny Dimes to really screw it up somewhere. Technically, he hasn't. I mean, he's been a really good game manager and they've won games. Minnesota, I still don't buy. Green Bay, I don't know what to make out of it. Tampa Bay is another one. I don't know what to make out of it in the NFC. I really don't. Stats, Tampa Bay is your team. I mean, they go in and they, shit the bed against the Steelers of all teams, who they don't even know who their quarterback is. And I thought, if anything, this would be the game to get Tampa Bay going, but that just didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, just Pittsburgh Steelers always tend to play pretty tough defense at home too. They were gonna go out there and show up in front of their fans, pressure Brady. The Buccaneers' offensive line hasn't been as good as it normally was in recent years. A lot of guys just lost a lot of guys off of that line. Of course, there's no Gronk there. I think that's still haunting them. They don't have a pretty go-to tight end that Brady can rely on and trust on right there in the middle of the field. So it puts more pressure on, Godwin and Evans to go out there and kind of outmaneuver their corners that are assigned to them. And just more pressure in general on Brady to have to find a seam for him to get the ball to those guys. But I mean, if there is one bright side, there's a couple of things. I mean, we all knew the Buccaneers defense is up there in the top 5, but Leonard Fournette is finally waking up, and they really, to me, that's the most important piece on that offense. They need Leonard Fournette to get going. They need him to be that workhorse. They started using him more in the pass game, which he's proven that he can catch the ball really well. So they need to start utilizing him, and he needs to be the focal point of the offense, because Brady can't be throwing the ball 40 times a game, every single game. And then you're going to be going up against tough defenses like the Steelers at home, who are always resilient. So, but you say the Steelers, they haven't looked very impressive, but the real question I have here regarding the NFC, AFC is a different story. The NFC, it almost feels like no one really wants to win it. Every team just seems to find a way to kind of shy away from its potential. The Eagles look the best so far, I think, but it's really weird. The Niners, Kittle hasn't been the same on the Niners. He's done almost nothing this season. The Eagles, that they've just looked the most impressive, but the whole NFC just hasn't really. I don't know what it is. And I'll tell you what, had the Packers kept Devontae Adams on that team, they would be the best team in the NFC right now. They would be the number 1 seed.
Can you imagine if Devontae? I mean, Devontae's in a world of shit, man. I mean,
yeah.
Good God. I mean, you're right. If he stays in Green Bay,
hands down, they would be the number 1 team in the NFC right now, without question. That defense is elite. It's interesting because this Packers organization does get scrutiny for not really building a support system, but if you look closely, they have done a fantastic job of just constantly reloading their pieces, especially on defense. Their defense always seems to be like a top 10 defense. Their lines always seem to be decent, and they are pretty solid. But I think that not bringing back Devontae Adams is really haunting them right now.
Yeah, it is, man. Not only that, I mean, pushing the cameraman. That's what we're gonna get into that too, because we got a lot of controversial stuff to get into in this episode of Sweep the League. We're gonna get into pushing cameraman because we've got some media moguls here that are with us, and Candace and Rock. So got to get their insight on that. But you're right, man. Rock puts it in the chat. We just had to preach that, because you're right. Nobody in the NFC wants to win, it seems like. You know what? The New York Jets are a top 3 team in the NFC right now.
Hell yeah. Go Jets, baby.
Jets, Jets. They are a top 3 team in the NFC. That is mind-blowing right there. The Jets, I mean, shoot, the Jets are a game out of first. They're a game out of having the best record in the AFC. Let that sink in.
Hell yeah. I'm surprised at the NFL this year, honestly. It's kind of weird. I don't know if y'all think so. It's just been like no one wants to win the AFC. The only 2 team wins are the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, the NFC's really screwed me, fantasy wise, because a lot of my players are in the NFC, and they just suck, man. I mean, I'm actually devastated by fantasy football this year. I've won so many leagues, and I've done great every year except this year. And I think I'm retiring at the end of this year. I'm past my prime. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out Antonio Brown style. I'm just gonna rip the shirt off and just run around the field and say goodbye to everybody. That's exactly the way I want to go in. Not Antonio Brown in the swimming pool. We're not going to bring that up, because I'm glad Candace wasn't here for the show like 2 weeks ago, where you guys were talking about donuts and that whole debacle. Candace, I'm glad you were not here for that, because that was definitely a show where I think you would have probably put your 2 weeks in.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I missed out now.
You probably did feel like you missed out, and you might have, but it was a show. It was a very off the rails type show. And have you ever been to Voodoo Donuts?
No, but I've heard of it. The one in Round Rock?
Yeah. That was what we're talking about, right? Rock?
There is one around, but I was talking about the one on 5th Street itself. That's the one I went to.
Oh, okay. On 5th Street. Well, yeah, Rock went to Voodoo Donuts and it got very X-rated, so we'll just leave it at that. For those of you that don't know, the Voodoo Donuts episode was a few weeks back, so be sure to get it on podcast. Go back and listen to it. It's I'm surprised we didn't get reported on that one. Thanks, Rock. I'm really surprised we didn't get reported on that. I need to get with stats later on over that kind of stuff.
Don't worry, I label all of our shows explicit.
Yeah, they all are. So Candace, don't let your little boy listen to it. Not yet. Not quite yet. You don't want him to know that mommy's cussing on air or anything like that. No, but and you're right. NFC, AFC, all that stuff, it's up for grabs this year in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills are pretty much the clear cut favorites in the NFL right now. I think we can all agree that the Buffalo Bills are that team to beat. And Rock himself said Josh Allen is that guy. What do you got, Stats?
Yeah. Hey, I gotta say though, Pat Mahomes. I mean, both Mahomes and Allen look really good, and of course, Allen got the huge win in Arrowhead. But I gotta give props to Mahomes, man. I think he might be the best quarterback in the whole league right now with what that guy. Yeah, with what he's able to do with this squad. Like, he's just got Travis Kelce on the offense. Like, that's it. That's insane. Like, Josh Allen's offense is loaded. I love Josh Allen, but he's got Gabe Davis. He's got Stephon Diggs. He's got Dawson Knox. He even has Isaiah McKinney. Like, they have, like, guys who are, like, all solid. at the receiving end. But like, who's Pat Mahomes throwing to? Like washed up Juju. I can't even
washed up.
I don't know. Like I can't. Like, who else is on that team outside of Kelsey that he's throwing to?
Marquez Valdez.
Oh God, the guy who has like one good game a season. I mean, come on. Like,
you know that guy's name is like longer than it, like letter wise, more than my name combined, first and last. I mean, that's a lot of letters. Can you spell Marquez Valdez Scantling right now? How long will it take you?
I don't think anyone can here. I mean, maybe Candace can. I feel like Candace is good spelling over here.
I mean, not even that. That's tough.
Like
you can't.
You could
Marquez Valdez Scantling.
Like it sounds like a creative player, like a made up. Like, is this a real player in the NFL?
Jesus, yeah, it does.
You know what? You know what? Let's do a segment like that at some point, Rudy. Let's do like a game where like I'll just throw out some random names, and you guys have to decide if they're actual like players in the NFL or if they're just made up.
Wow, wasn't there was a basketball player on Wembayama's team, and I thought they were.
Oh no.
Ho Fat, right?
No. The name was Ho You Fat.
Ho You Fat.
Literally spelled Ho Houyou Fat FAT. And I thought, you gotta be kidding me. There's no way.
I want to wear his jersey so
this
bad.
Guy's last name or entire name is Ho You Fat, and sure enough, that's his real name. How? Candace, you recently had a child compared to all of us. I have a 9-year-old, and Rock has a kid that we don't even know about. Stats, we don't know about stats. Stats may be, father of 15. We just don't know. But we know for a fact that your child is younger than mine. So did you have problem picking a name for your son? I mean, it just seems like you going in the delivery room, the baby's coming. What do you want to name your son? You know what? You look like a Ho You Fat. Like, how does this work?
Yeah, I mean, I like to go the traditional route. So my son's name is David, which is super traditional. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, there's parents that name their children after states. I don't know if that's maybe like a conception thing that they just attach to that state for some reason, or like,
states,
yeah,
really?
I don't know, but it's like there's some names that I'm like, oh, that would like, I don't know. There was a lot of creativity behind that name, and then some names I don't even know how to pronounce. I'm like, what is the correct pronunciation of this? Because it's spelled differently. So it's another thing. It's like they might use a traditional name, but then they spell it differently to where it looks funky. And you're like, is that a misspelling? And it's like, but you don't want to be rude, right? You're like, oh, is that like a misspelling?
Is that misspelled?
like no one can say Favre's name like at all at the beginning of his career.
Favre. Well, I mean, she's right. Okay, so I guess as a parent, my wife is. You can say she gets kind of embarrassed because a lot of times I'll just say something, especially if I'm liquored up. I'm just going to say it or ask it because I don't know what the hell I'm saying. But if you got a name, like, do you normally say, oh, that's a pretty name? But in the back of your mind and deep down inside, you're like, what in the fuck is that?
100%. That's my
name. Okay, so I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that, gets a weird name and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Dude, one time when I was working at HEB, there's this coworker and she was like, she's introducing herself. She's like, hi, my name is China. And I was like, China? And like in my head, I was like, oh, nice to meet you. And I thought she was lying. And I look at her name. Her name is actually China. And it's spelled like that. And I was like, why would you name your kid China? Well, it just was a random thing.
And like Candace said, y'all may have had. Now, okay, I get it. There are some states, I mean, kids that are named after states, I'm sure. But honestly, I can really say I don't think I've ever met Georgia. No, not Georgia.
Brock, can you name your kid Texas so we can call him Texas Garza Jr.?
Texas Garza Jr.
I mean, literally, like, okay, so I have a boy. Oh, what are you gonna name him? Oh, he looks like a Rhode Island. He looks like South. Well, we're gonna call his middle name's gonna be Dakota. I just don't know if it's gonna be North or South. Yeah,
okay.
I'm debating on that first part.
Nebraska Compost Jr.
Nebraska Compost Jr. NCJ. Now you got to go for the initials. I mean, the initials got to go. But I don't get baby names at all sometimes. I really don't. To me, I guess it's more of the Hispanic or the true Culebra and General McMullen West Side of me that says, hey, if I have a son, you know what? Sorry for you, but you're gonna use my last name. Why? You're gonna use my first and last name. So if I'm Rudy Campos Jr., you're gonna be Rudy Campos III. Easy for me to spell. I don't have to remember how to spell your damn name. It's all in line. I just gotta change the last few digits. That's it. That's the way it works for me. Now, if it was up to my daughter, I would probably have said, we're gonna change one letter, and that's B. D and B. So you'll be Ruby Campos Jr. But I didn't have a say in that. So that's neither here or there. But I'm glad we're getting into baby names because apparently Candace made a comment in the text messages about a baby named Brady. Tom Brady. And she said that now I needed this is another name. Is it Giselle? Is it Isel? How do we pronounce this?
Giselle, right?
Giselle.
Yeah. So
Giselle.
Okay.
Giselle. Yeah.
So Giselle. I have to pronounce it right. I don't want to get sued over here for this. She makes like $90 billion. Candace said that she is worth double what Tom Brady is.
Correct. Or almost as double, because apparently Tom Brady's net worth, I believe, from the latest numbers, is 250 million, while she's at 400 million. So interesting.
Tom Brady's only worth 250 million?
Yeah, and that's with endorsements.
What? The greatest quarterback in football history is only worth 250 million.
And he just lost to one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Man,
Tom Brady.
Stats, she is getting both of your boys down below with that kick.
Yeah. Well, hey, I want to present this question to you because I do like Brady, and it's a weird history with me because I've been a long time Bills fan. So Brady's always been the Bill killer.
Yeah.
So it's a strange kind of thing that I've had with Brady over the years. But I want to present this question to you because it looks like his talent got sucked out, like in Space Jam. He's kind of looked like a shell of himself.
We got to keep it somewhat family oriented wherever you're going with this.
Trust me, it's family oriented, but it's a real question, and I'm just curious because the whole media world says he's going to retire, right? And everyone assumes he's going to retire. He doesn't actually come out and say it though. And then because the whole media world came out and all the public thinks he retired, he's like, wait a minute, I didn't actually retire. But do you think he just came back just to show everyone that, hey, y'all were wrong in your assumption. I didn't actually retire. And now he's completely like regretting that. And he's just kind of playing on fumes.
I think that's the reason why the divorce is happening. To be honest, and I'm not even joking around. I think he already made the decision to retire. I think that last season, didn't go as planned. The competitor in him came out and he was like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to do this. And Giselle was like, F you, you're staying home. I've been taking care of the kids. I'm doing all this. It's my turn to go do this. And let's be real, she probably gave up a lot of time in her career for it too. So I think she was banking on, being a family, no more traveling for Tom, no more Deflategate, no more BS, whatever. And when he reneged on it, I think it pissed her off. And that's why they're going down this. But his talent being sucked out. Oh, yeah, dude, I agree. Brady's not Brady this year. Brady's definitely not Brady. And I know the divorce has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point there because he looks miserable.
He does.
Like if you just see him play, like he's like you mentioned about, him complaining about the hits, and don't get me wrong, quarterbacks complain about stuff, but you just see it on his face. He's just frustrated. He's tired. He looks like he regrets the decision to come back.
He lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, he did.
He looks like the male version of Joan Rivers.
Oh my gosh.
He really does. He looks bad.
There was a TikTok that I saw that said Tom Brady's literally all of us walking into work now.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That is so accurate.
We need that TikTok. We need to post that TikTok. That is so true. I mean, the guy is miserable. So miserable. Now, Candace loves working. Rock loves working. Stats loves working. Me, I work. I'm not going to say I love work. I work. But I get that. I really feel that when Candace said right now. I really feel Tom Brady is just, he's miserable going into work. Why not just walk away right now? Who cares?
Exactly. He has nothing else to prove.
But that's the thing, Rudy, because he doesn't want to, like, I think he wants to, but he's telling himself, no, that's a sign of weakness. If I come out here, the media will slay me if I do that. I think it's just he's playing his own worst enemy right now. He's playing his own mental game that's keeping him playing. And unfortunately, it's just making him more miserable because I think he wants to leave. I think he's done with this. He wants to retire. You could tell he doesn't look like he's having fun anymore with the game. He's just kind of going out there, and it's a shame too because the Buccaneers still have an elite defense. It's not like this team is full of scrubs.
They're tied with the Falcons, man. Come on,
yeah,
they're tied with the Falcons.
It's not perfect. It's not close to. They're not what they were. We'll put it that way. And Tom is one of those reasons, unfortunately. But he just looks miserable, man. He doesn't look like he's having fun with the game anymore.
Well, I gotta ask Candace now. Did you want to go off on a little rant with Giselle here and put Brady in his place?
I just want to say that she should feel so empowered knowing that she is worth more than her husband, who is considered the GOAT in the NFL. And I think that's just being awesome. Not only is she a working mom, she's just a queen. And that's it.
There you go. You know what? I'm gonna second that with Candace because my personal life is my personal life. I don't care if I share my personal life. I really don't. But my wife makes a lot more than I do. And you know what? I'm proud of it. If she tells me, honey, you're not going to work anymore, you're going to be a stay-at-home dad, I'm going to ask her, where do you put the broom in the apron? I will be glad and be a stay-at-home dad. No problem at all. That is no problem at all for me. So I agree. I mean, she should feel. I mean, you know what? She has a right to say what she wants to in that marriage. I mean, to me, I guess I'm more traditional. And it's if you make more money than I do, then you've got a little bit more say than I do. I can't really say much about it. I know it's marriage, it's 50-50 and all, but for me, it's like, if, yes, dear. Now, if I make a little bit more than her, it's like, yes, dear. Yes, dear. Yes, I have a little bit more of a say, but no, I don't. So, I mean, to me, it doesn't, it's whatever. It doesn't matter to me. This is Sweep the League podcast. Baller Boys podcast. I'm Refocused Radio, Shemaya on the Beat Internet Radio, The Gervin Big Mo Show, all the great podcasts and shows from Sweep the League Network. I got to get into, we're going to talk Spurs. I have one question for the Spurs for you guys, and then we're going to move on because I got other stuff I want to cover with you guys. Spurs are pegged at, I think it was 23 wins on the year. Just give me a plus or minus. Do you think they go over, or do you think they go under that, or is 23 wins fair? I'll start first. 23 wins, it's going to be there or below for me. I mean, I don't see them winning much more. They're going to be competitive, but eventually talent will outplay them, and they're going to get, bested on the court majority of the nights. So 23 wins is pretty legit. They'll probably be one of the worst teams in the league, and I'm pretty much here for it. I mean, whatever, it's a Spurs season, just enjoy it while it lasts, and that's it. Candace, what do you got? Is it above 23 good, below 22? I know you're a Cowboy fan. You're used to disappointment, so get ready for the Spurs season. What do you got?
I think 23 is a fair number. Win or lose. Again, same with Cowboys. Like, I always be a Spurs fan, so I think this is just the year to kind of just build momentum and, build the team back up. And, why not? And like I said, again, I'm the optimist here. There's always next year. There's always the next game. It's never ending, and fans will always be there no matter what.
There you go. Come on, Rock. What do you got, man?
Well, I'm going to be the devil's advocate, and I'm going to say they're going to go a little bit over. Just like kind of, you'll have those games where they're not really supposed to win and they win it because it's just the Spurs. And, and you have Pop still at the helm. But I think it's probably going to be around like 26 to like a 28 range. I want them to suck, and I want them to go for Wembanyama or Scoot. But I really hope we just see a youth grow before our eyes. I was really encouraged what Pop said today about Shohan, about how he's going to give him basically the green light just to let him grow and let him make his mistakes, and that's really encouraging to see. Because I mean, if we get to see some young guys play a lot of minutes, I mean, obviously they're going to play a lot of minutes because all they have. It'll be something we haven't seen in a while. Because compared to if they go to the G League, most of the time you never saw those guys. But then again, that was a different team when we were contending or making the playoffs. So it's just something new, and I'm excited for it.
All right, Stats. You're under a clock here.
I'm gonna go under. So Rudy, I'm gonna roll with you on that one. But like Rock, you brought up a really good point with this though, because Pop said, he's gonna let these guys play, he's gonna let them grow, and these guys got to make mistakes. And the thing is, with like the media, especially and commentators, they like to get on these especially younger athletes for making mistakes, and they sometimes they'll get roasted on like certain like media outlets or whatnot. But people have to understand, like, these guys got to make mistakes to grow, to get better as players, both on and off the floor, like with the mindset and with their skills. Now is the time to let those young guys go out there and make those mistakes. And the Spurs aren't contending anytime soon. So why not let these guys get the problems out of their system and let Coach Pop do his thing and help them grow to their fullest potential,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, is there any possibility this team wins 30 games? I mean, at all? Is there any possibility? You don't think so?
If they played the Lakers every game.
Jeez, I don't know about that, but
you mentioned Lakers. I had a kind of a debate with my friend. Do y'all see the Lakers being one of the top teams, or maybe like a borderline play-in team? I said maybe like a 7 or 8, but my friend's really like confident they're going to be a play-in team or not even make the playoffs.
I don't have them in the top 10 in the league. Like, period. They'll probably right now. I have the Lakers as a maybe 5th or 6th seed in the West, and I think that's giving them too much credit. I don't buy any of the Lakers hype. I mean, yeah, LeBron's LeBron, AD is AD, Russ is Russ. I mean, don't buy the bullshit about Russ saying, "Well, that's my tradition. I've always done that." Yeah. No, dude, you don't want to be a part of that team. You clearly don't want to be a part of that team. If you're gonna, I mean, you're making it so obvious. If you don't want to be there, just ask for your release. Somebody's going to pick you up. But I don't buy the Lakers hype at all. I don't have them, like I said, 5th at the highest. I expect them to be one of the play-in teams, like fighting for that last play-in spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have the Lakers as. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
It's the Clippers time, baby.
Yeah, Clippers are one of the best teams in the league. They're one of my favorites.
Yeah. I see the Lakers as a 5 or a 6 seed too, and that's mainly just because the team's going to have LeBron and AD. So, with that, it's just that star power enough. It's like, okay, they got to get them somewhere.
So speaking of star power, I want to get into star power mention here, but before, I can't let Candace go without a Lakers pick here. I got to hear Candace's Lakers pick here because I want to know if Candace actually thinks the Lakers are going to be good or maybe not. Are they going to be top 10? What do you think, Candace? I can't let you go without a Lakers pick because we dog the Lakers here too.
I'll say top 10. I'll even go specific as even saying 7.
All right. Yeah. I'm down with 7. 7's good. So I said star power. And December 3rd, we should be, and I'm saying should be, I haven't confirmed it yet, but we should be at the next TMB boxing event. Lights out. You want to talk about main event? As of right now, San Francisco 49er, former San Francisco 49er, Frank Gore is going to be fighting in that main event. Now, there's also speculations of certain high-profile rappers, certain high-profile athletes already reserving their tables for the TMB event on December 3rd. This is going to be at the Freeman Coliseum, so hopefully we'll be able to be in there. Co-headlining the event is Rick El Castigo Medina, who's also a world champion. I mean, this event's going to be major, major big. A couple of fighters that we've talked to before, Ruru Silva is going to be there. Sylvester Quinones will be there. Henry Worldstar Arredondo is supposed to be fighting. Corey K is going to be there. A lot of these guys that we've talked about before are going to be fighting. We're going to be providing some coverage for that again. December 3rd, TMB Promotion presents Lights Out. Frank Gore is going to be that main event. So that's going to be fun and interesting. That's a star power. It's going to be coming out in December for Sweep the League network. So I know we got Super Keep coming up, but I got to tell you guys a story here. So about a week ago, me and my wife were eating dinner at a Longhorn Steakhouse. And yeah, must have been good because I finally couldn't afford, steak for dinner one night now. So I had to work some overtime, that 30 hours of overtime. And my Challenger keys got stolen. You realize how much one damn key fob is when your keys get jacked? I'll give y'all guys one guess. See if y'all know. For a Challenger.
Dude, those are expensive. Those are probably north of $800, I think.
All right, so we got Rockin' at 800. This is like The Price is Right. Who we got next? Either Stats or Candace.
Candace, you got it.
I'm thinking. Not that I'm Googling or anything, I promise.
I already hear the clicking.
Right? She's just typing really fast. She's like, I swear I'm not.
No, I'm going to say 400.
400.
Yeah.
Stats? Price is right, man.
I'm going to go 300.
All right. So the actual retail price without going over is $360. Stats wins.
Oh my gosh.
So $360. Now, if you go by close, Candace wins, but without going over, Stats wins. So, man, one of y'all said $1. That would have been probably good too.
I just know they're expensive. I thought it was like close, like 800, because I just seen key fobs go expensive, and customers come to my dad like, "Well, we lost a key fob. Can you fix it?" And my dad's like, "Dude, those are expensive. Like, I'm not gonna get you a discount."
Yeah. So, yeah, it was $360 to get a key fob made for my car, and I'm crying, and I'm like fighting with the insurance because apparently you can cover it under roadside assistance and you get it reimbursed. But yeah, so the next thing is my insurance says, well, the car is registered to, and I'm not going to give the name because I don't know this girl, but this girl, is that your wife? And I'm like, no, my wife's name is not that. So you don't own the car? I'm like, well, yeah, we own the car, but it's not under your name. I'm like, it's under my name. How am I insuring a car for the past 2 or 3 months and it's not under my name? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to be real with you. Clear cover insurance sucks. I'm having the absolute worst time with them. So I'm giving that shout out here. The Sweep the League segment of Kick to the Nuts today goes to Clear Cover Insurance. It is absolutely horrendous, man. And I'm pretty sure they're never going to be one of our sponsors. So I can definitely say that. I've got other insurance people that are willing to sponsor, but yeah, Clear Cover is bad. I had to mention that to you guys because I still can't believe that that key fobs are that much. Is it just the old man in me that thinks that, a key's like maybe 60, 70, $80? I mean, I don't, Rock, your dad's in the industry. I mean, what the hell? Are y'all overpricing these damn things?
Nah, it's just when you have like those like electronic ones for the key fobs themselves. But I mean, it's a push to start, I assume, correct?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, I was able to jump out of the Mexican side of me and got the push start. They convinced me to get push start. So
no, and it's funny because when those key fobs my dad needs to fix, I go to a place on the south side, and like they give us discounts, and it's probably like give or take like $80 to fix.
And you couldn't tell me this.
Hey, I didn't know, man.
Bullshit. You saw my post. I posted it on social.
I didn't know you needed a key fob.
You stalked my page big time. I mean,
no, you stalk me, man. You stalk all of us.
You're like Ghostface from Scream. You stalk me so much, man.
I see you right now.
It's funny you mentioned, going to the south side or west side. Like growing up, like if I needed a tire change, I go to like one of those like, pop up or wall tire shops. And like now,
yeah.
as an adult and working full time, I go to like Costco for my tires. Like, who am I? Like,
oh my God.
I still go to the South Side for my tires. My dad knows the people, and he's known me since I was a kid.
See, y'all are gonna make fun of me because now the old man comes out. I go to discount. I mean, discount's like the old person's part.
Hey, do you remember the discount tire commercial with that old lady like throws a tire in the window and she's like, yeah,
I remember that. Make me feel even older, Candace. I appreciate that. So yeah, and she's right because I used to go to the tire shop. My tire be low or flat, and it's where you drive up. And y'all know. I mean, I'm sure y'all know. You go in. They don't even have parking spaces.
Yeah.
It's always rocks because they can't afford the gravel. It's all rocks. And they leave all their tools on the outside. You're guaranteed to see 2 cars lifted for some reason. They're never working on them. It's the same 2 cars the past 5 years.
And there's always one nice car there. And you're like, damn, like, how did they get this one over here?
There's always one nice car there, and it's usually for sale because they got to sell it to pay the rent all the time. You drive up, you're like, I have a flat tire. And they look at you like, okay. And it's like, God, I forgot. I took 4 years of Spanish in Central Catholic, and I still don't remember one word. So it's like tire, flat, fix, help, please, something.
No, I would do like the in between. I'd be like, flat llanta.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And they say, llanta. Oh, quiero cuatro llantas. No, I just need fix, patch. Oh, no. Cuatro llantas, cuatro. No, dude, like one. Whoa, uno llanta. Like, no. One fix. I spent, 30 minutes trying to explain to the guy that it takes him 2 minutes to fix. I mean, they're the only place that I know that can take off a tire quicker than a NASCAR picker and get it done quick. So it's funny you mentioned that because I had to go the other day to take my mom's car out there to get fixed, and I dealt with the same thing. The guy comes up and tries to sell me 4 tires. I'm like, dude, they're not even new, I'm sure. I mean, you can't have new tires here. I'm almost guaranteed, and all that stuff. But yeah, that's my car story. We got Sweeper Keep coming up. Before we do, let me remind everybody here, Sweep the League comes to you every single Monday night. The episodes drop later in the evening. Don't forget on Mondays, it's also the D Gerv and Big Mo Show on Facebook, Shema on the Beach Radio. Go follow that. It's a lot of great music. Baller Boys podcast, Stats and Shemaya always dropping the knowledge, the sports knowledge to you guys. Last but not least, I Am Refocused Radio. Dean Kane, Tamara Mowry was also another guest. Yeah, sister, back in the day. Shemaya's getting a lot of great interviews. He's releasing them almost daily now. So go check out all the podcasts out there where podcasts are available. All right, Sweeper Keep time. And Stats, I know you're ready, but I just want to we're planning to do this, and I'm going to have everybody out there listen. If you listen to the show, and we want you to just retweet this. We want you to retweet or not retweet, just tweet at us. And put whatever you want. Mainly for Candace, though. We got to see Candace on there because we're going to have a girls club come up. Candace is going to be hosting. She basically told Stats behind the scenes and said, look, I'm the Patrick Mahomes of this crew. I'm carrying this crew. I need my starting spot. So we're going to give her the girls club. She's going to be hosting a Sweep the League girls club edition here pretty soon on Monday nights. Rock and myself will be kicked to the curb. We're going to be doing whatever we have to do on those Mondays because we're going to be kicked out and it's no boys allowed, with the exception of Stats probably because, he makes the things go around here for sure. So that's coming up pretty soon here. Hope everybody will enjoy that. We will announce the guests that are going to be on that show. Panel of women talking about sports, and it's going to be such a great night. I cannot wait for it. Just like Sweeper Keep, Stats. All right, man. I'm curious what you have because lately these Sweeper Keeps have been literally making people cry from laughing so hard. So what do you got?
Well, I got some interesting stuff. But first, a little bit of introductory work here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sweep or Keep segment here on Sweep the League podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome. This is Sweep or Keep. So what happens here is I'm going to present either a tweet, an opinion, or a quote from someone, and these guys over here are either going to sweep it, which means they don't like it, they're going to toss it in the trash, or they're going to keep it, which means they love it. They're going to put it on their mantle to cherish forever. So let's begin. We have got a very interesting one here. I don't know if y'all have heard anything about the Miami Dolphins ping pong table story. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So apparently last Wednesday, Mike McDaniel was praising the team captains for removing the ping pong table in the locker room so they can better focus on the opponents. Well, some days later, Tyreek Hill said that the reason the table was removed was because it was bent and they're ordering a new custom designed one. So with that being said, the Miami Dolphins ping pong table story, sweep or keep?
Oh God. I'm gonna keep it, I guess, only because first off, ping pong table, why? I don't know how that made such huge news, ping pong table wise. I mean, when I saw it, I'll be honest, when I saw it, it was more like, who gives a shit about ping pong tables? I mean, who cares? And I think they actually didn't break it. I think someone was just pissed off because didn't that happen after the loss?
I think
if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
So somebody got pissed off. And then the person that got pissed off, Tyreek Hill, went ahead and ordered a customized one because he felt bad, Tyreek Hill, for breaking the ping pong table. But again, I was more like, why the hell we care about a ping pong? Why does ping pong table get this much coverage? That part I don't get. That's to me, that's mind blowing. I'm going to keep it. Great that Tyreek Hill, who we're not saying he's at fault, but we know he's at fault, is ordering a customized ping pong table. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to roll with that for sure. Candace, Rock, what are y'all doing?
You know, when you want a ping pong table, you just want a new ping pong table. And it seems like that's what they just wanted, just it's kind of like those, just asking for a friend type of thing, but you're really asking for yourself. I think that's what that was.
But are we sure it's ping pong, Candace? You sure it wasn't beer pong?
I mean, after some loss, a beer pong table wouldn't be a bad thing.
Are you good at beer pong?
I've never played beer pong.
You and I both. I've never played beer pong.
How have y'all never played?
Well, I feel like
we don't.
That's a youngin' thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, wait a minute, you're young, Candace. Let's not go off the deep end there.
I'm an elder millennial.
But you're still young. Like,
oh, that's a new term I have never heard before. An elder millennial. I am hashtagging that on the post. Elder millennial. Wow. Oh my goodness.
So beer pong. Rock's obviously played beer pong. Stats, have you played beer pong?
Oh, it's a lot of fun, yeah.
So I'm assuming y'all have.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. I don't know. And again, I swear I hate, and this is the part where I've always told Candace that y'all guys make fun of me. What is the fucking rules of beer pong? I seriously don't know. I know you're supposed to get a ping pong ball in a cup. Is that what you drink? Or?
They change from table to table.
There's not one game of beer pong. There's multiple.
Oh, there is. But the rules, it's funny because every time I've played, somehow there's a little rule that gets changed.
Yeah, there's always a little rule that's called house rule. There's always like some stupid little rule they always incorporate.
Are we all drinkers on this podcast, FYI?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Candace like, hell yeah. Raise your hand.
I'm a mom. Of course I'm drinking.
What happens on Sweep the League stays in Sweep the League.
Stays on Sweep the League, yeah.
You know what's messed up about the beer pong thing is, they have one like a Chuck E. Cheese, but it's like for kids.
They do,
What?
yeah.
Yes, I swear to God, they have one. It's either Chuck E. Cheese or Peter Piper's, but they definitely have. It's a little like they have the little cups and they're all lined up, and you throw the little ball in them. And I was like, that's literally beer pong.
Wow. Is it like juice pong or something?
No, they're like empty, but it's just the idea.
Yeah, I know.
I sure as hell hope they were empty. Didn't have beer in their Chuck E. Cheese.
Rudy, they get the kids playing juice pong.
Jesus, I have noticed that. All right, well, I guess not only do we have a bowling event, but we got a beer pong event coming. So with me and Candace being rookies, I guess we got to pick one of these guys, Candace.
It'll be at Chuck E. Cheese.
We'll do
We'll
whatever.
get kicked out.
Chuck E. Cheese. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
Nah, Peter Piper will let us fly with that.
Oh yeah, especially the one on military.
It gets pretty rowdy. Have you seen those viral videos of those families getting drunk and getting wild at Chuck E. Cheese?
You think we should go to Peter Piper's and try playing beer pong? The one on 35 on the military?
I'm sure anything on 35 will probably be like,
damn, shout out to 35, man. Definitely don't want to go to the Ojos Locos on 35 and whatever military.
That'd be a fun after party. Come on.
I don't have enough Kevlar to go there at all. Like, there's no way I'm not leaving that place without bullet hole riddles all over my car. So no.
We need to have it sort of only in San Antonio, of like things you'll only see in San Antonio.
Oh God, that list. I don't think I would live long enough to get that list out. That's a long ass list that we're talking about there.
Fred's Fish Fry.
Yeah, Fred's
Fish Fry, yes.
That is definitely one. Murph's Burgers.
Oh yeah, Murph's is good, man.
Have you had Murph's?
Murph's is good.
Okay,
It's
so
underrated.
I literally live across the street from Murph's.
Oh my gosh, Rudy, that's got to be torture for you.
Yes, the fat kid in me has left me and just said, I'm leaving you for dead, because he's tired of me passing by Fred's Fish. He's tired of me passing by Murph's. Burger Boy, the other one, unofficial sponsor of Sweep the League, Burger Boy. All these, and that's how I don't understand. People are like, how do you live in San Antonio and you don't eat what you have there? I'm like, I don't know. I really don't. I'm not like you guys. Y'all guys can eat whatever you want and y'all are fine. Me, on the other hand, I eat one burger and I'm Chris Farley times 2. I mean, I just keep going, and you know what? I triple the weight. So I gotta be picky and choose what I eat here. But enough about that part. We'll get into. We got more sweeper key. Brock, did you give an answer on the ping pong, or you would just move on? Because now you're thinking about beer pong, I'm sure.
No, we can just move on. But I mean, I'll keep it.
All right.
All right, there you go. You heard it. All right, we got one more. This one's from the truth himself, Paul Pierce. He says, and this is short, sweet, and to the point, LeBron isn't a top 5 player.
Ever?
Sweep, or keep?
Do you think he meant ever?
Maybe. I'll have to go ahead and double check that. But what do you think in general? Like, let's say in the NBA right now.
In the NBA right now, I'm going to keep that. Because I have Giannis, Jokic, Luka, Embiid, and Kawhi as probably the top 5 right now. Maybe even Kevin Durant. Now, all time, you bet your fucking ass LeBron is not top 5. No way, all time. I don't really care what anybody says. The guy's the most dominant force of his time. I will give him that. But all time, when you got guys like Wilt, Russell, Jabbar, Jordan, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Duncan. I mean, you can't give me top 5 for LeBron all day. No. That I totally agree with Pierce. And I don't even like Paul Pierce. I've had the urges to go take a dump during a basketball game, and not even I faked the knee injury to do that. I toughed it out like the old Central Catholic button that I was, and I waited till I got done. So I don't like Paul Pierce, but I will agree with him on this. The only thing I do think I agree with Paul Pierce on, not agree with him, but I have had those nights where those poker parties got a little wild. But other than that, I agree with Paul Pierce. LeBron is not top 5.
Right. So even like all time as well, right? And even
all time.
Even okay.
I will gladly say all time LeBron is not top 5. I don't have him in there.
Ooh, this is hard. I mean, it's always going to be real subjective of who's your top 5 necessarily. I'm gonna sweep it partially because I mean I could see the case for LeBron being put 5 all time, but right now he's not top 5 all time. I mean, right now he's not top 5 because his age is there. But it's just always going to be a debate of how you view and categorize, top players NBA all time. Whether it be championship, scoring, team leader, this and that, or finals record. It's just always going to be an argument and debate over it. But I guess I'm semi sweeping it just because LeBron is arguably up there with as okay. Michael's better in a sense the GOAT, but LeBron's a hell of a player despite his finals record. And he's a better all-around player in a sense to me. But Michael's a better scorer and defensive menace. But it's just real subjective on how you view the GOAT or just top 5.
But you don't have to really view the GOAT to consider him top 5.
I mean, kind of in a sense. I mean, who's the best player all time to you?
For me, I have always said Michael Jordan is the best player of all time. But I can make a super good case for Jabbar. And I mean, you could make a case, a small case, very small case for guys like Bill Russell. I mean, there's cases like that you can make a case for. But all time, I mean, Jordan for me is the all-time great for accomplishments and I mean, having a perfect finals record. The guy just he revolutionized the game of basketball in some senses. I mean, he was just dominant from start to finish. LeBron has had, I mean, if you gave Jordan 2 other top 75 or top 50 players in the game, is he not making the playoffs? LeBron had 2.
He is.
LeBron missed the playoffs with 2 top 75 guys.
Yeah, I agree.
So, again, why does LeBron get all this love? I mean, yes, he's dominant. Yes, he's this. Yes, he's that. Yes, we're going to shove him down your throat because we have to sell tickets and we have to market the NBA and LeBron's that guy. There's so many more players that are more marketable than LeBron James. But to me, LeBron James is just not that guy. He's not top 5 for me all time. And I'm gonna give you a little mind doozer at the end of this, but I'm gonna let Candace answer this one now. But for me, it's just not top 5. And I get what you're saying, Rock. I really do. You can't make a case for him, but it just for me, it's hard to make that case for LeBron top 5 this year, top 5 all time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of agree with you, Rudy. I'm personally not a LeBron fan. Not that I have anything against him. I just feel like his time is coming to an end. And I love Steph Curry. I think he's more of a top 5. That's just my 2 cents. But I think from LeBron, I think his time is running out, and his age also plays a factor. For granted, Tim Duncan was old in his age, but he was still great, and I just don't see that same force from LeBron.
No, we really don't. I mean, LeBron's gone downhill. I mean, Stats, do you feel like LeBron's lost a step a lot?
Yeah, I think he's slowed down a bit for sure. I mean, just his durability, with his injuries and such. But he can still play, man. He can still. He hit some nice little fadeaways the other night. Look good.
So, before we go, I want to drop this on you guys here, and Derek, who's obviously on the show, every now and then he's with us here. He's always pointed out to me, and I've always really looked into it, and I really looked deeply into the stats, and I've looked at everything. Would it mind boggle you people to know that George Gervin is, I think, he's number 2 in scoring overall, not scoring point wise, but efficiency. Him and Mike are 1 and 2. But if you were to ask like true NBA guys, they would rank George ahead of Mike. And that kind of was mind scratching to me. I talked to a former NBA player, and the sentiment was the same as Derek was telling me. Like, go back and look at the highlights for George. The guy would shoot like 15 shots and get 30 points, 16 shots and get 30 points. Efficiency was the key to George, to where Mike, had to get up his 20, 23. But when you talk about all-time scorers, George Gervin is probably the most efficient, but probably the greatest scorer in NBA history who didn't, it's hard for me to word it, but the way he worded it was, if George was like Mike and was selfish, George would have averaged well over 40, 45 a game for almost his entire career. And that's on stats. The numbers don't lie. So if you were to look at the total stats of it, can you imagine, not only a former Spur, but George Gervin, a player like that, averaging close to 44 a game for his entire career, year in and year out in the 40s? Does that change your mind as to who the greatest of all time would be, considering George never won titles? But that opens up that conversation. If George wasn't selfish, if George was selfish, look at the scoring he would have been able to do. That's crazy to me. Rock, you got something?
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna add on. That is crazy, but I just it kind of just goes on to what we're all talking about. It's just so hard, what everyone categorizes as the GOAT, and that's it's always like that in all sports. Candace has Steph Curry up there. You don't have LeBron up there. I have LeBron up there. Stats may not have LeBron up there. It's just really who's your GOAT, and it's gonna change from every generation. But
Yeah.
a lot of people see it as LeBron because of recency bias. These people that see LeBron necessarily didn't grow up watching Jordan in his prime, and you only see it on TV. It's like when you're watching it live. And I think to switch kind of sports really quickly before we go, when we're talking about Mahomes and Allen, Tony Dungy gave a good point that this is this generation's Brady and Manning, those Patriots Broncos days, or Colts days, excuse me. And when he was with the Broncos, but it's like going from generation. It's something I've always looked at. It's beautiful to see because the next generation is going to have their own athletes and their GOAT. So it's just awesome to see, and I'm sure all y'all can relate because y'all seen, the best player from each generation to generation. And it's just kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to end it right now because we're going to end it on a high note. Rock used the word beautiful, and I'm going to end it on that right there because Rock never uses the word beautiful other than when he's looking in the mirror and talking to himself. So for Rocky Garza, for stats, for the one and only, the true GOAT of Sweep the League, Candace Garcia. Derek Gervin, he had the D Gervin Big Mo show tonight. They were talking to Peter Vesey and Shemaya, working on his music. So he'll be back with us next week. Until we sweep the league again next Monday, this is Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. signing off. See you guys later.
Oh, yeah.